great time. Who knows what's going to be happening there? There's a lot going on. And yes, the lead story tonight is the California wildfires, but you almost want to lead with al-Baghdadi. And I got a lot to tell you about al-Baghdadi and how he was brought down and what a tremendous job the President of the United States did in orchestrating that whole thing. It was not just taking down al-Baghdadi, but how he delivered the Kurds from Turkey in all of this, and how he protected the oil wells that the American oil companies will be the ones managing. We will get the bulk of the oil. A percentage of it will also go to the Kurds, a percentage stop the Turkish invasion and capture al-Baghdadi all in one sweet move. Unbelievable. I told you he's playing 7 games of chess while the rest of the world leaders are playing tiddlywinks. And maybe Putin is playing chess, 1 game of it, while Trump's playing 7 at once. It's incredible. And let's just give God praise for the victory and thank the Lord for safely protecting our U.S. Special Ops, Green Berets, and Delta Force and others that were in on this. And I want to thank information we're getting from Agent RC on this. And what a tremendous move it was, how it was orchestrated by the President of the United States. And how it was kept so secret that not even the Speaker of the House had a clue what was going on. I think it's just an incredible protection going on here. Great moves going on. And we just want to give God all the glory for it, that our young men and women were safely protected in this. And al-Baghdadi is dead. Al-Baghdadi is dead. Trump told us in that press conference he could have taken out other leaders of the ISIS group many times, but instead said, no, I don't need these other guys. I want Baghdadi. We're going to cut off the head of the snake. And that was one of his promises if he won the election, that he would chase ISIS to hell and cut off the head of the snake. And in his words, he called al-Baghdadi a gutless animal. And you think about all the women and children that this guy orchestrated the slaughter of, and all the people that were beheaded, and all the horrific things he did, even to the 3 American citizens, and just all of this, folks, that went on. It's just good to see that it's the end of Baghdadi. Now, I realize that ISIS will have another leader rise up by tomorrow morning, but believe me, these guys are scared. They're scared. And just a great victory. By the way, we have a situation with the California fires that are absolutely, folks, out of control. I'm going to tell you more about Baghdadi and this unbelievable, brave attempt by the U.S. Special Forces. No U.S. Special Forces were killed. We went in with 8 helicopters. The president said he didn't even tell Russia what he was doing, didn't tell anyone else what we were doing. Russia asked, he just said, we're coming in, don't shoot us. And Russia wanted to know why, and he said, we're not going to tell you, we'll tell you later, but we're coming in. It's not a question of can we come in, and we're coming in right over top of you with 8 helicopters, and they came in, and their job was to take out al-Baghdadi, and then we let everybody know afterwards. Quite amazing. There was a tremendous response by every country, a lot of countries. I'm going to share that with you after the song. Maybe Mike's watching right now, and maybe he can't do that. Okay. So thank you, guys. Thank you. Brock, let's talk about al-Baghdadi, if we can. Here's some information I have on al-Baghdadi, and here's what President Trump is saying. You may have missed the president's live press conference today. It went for about an hour and 15 minutes. It was one of the best truthful presentations of how military operations go down And it was amazing, really. President Trump says ISIS leader Abu al-Baghdadi is dead after the U.S. led a raid into Syria. We did the whole raid, by the way. He even said that. President Donald Trump said Sunday that the terrorist leader Abu al-Baghdadi, perhaps the world's most wanted man, was killed in a special operations raid over the weekend. Last night, he said, Saturday night, the United States brought the world's #1 terrorist leader to justice. Trump said at the White House early Sunday morning in a televised address to the nation. Al-Baghdadi led an extremist organization known as ISIS, or the Islamic State. Trump said he died after running from a house into a dead-end tunnel while being chased by U.S. commandos in northwest Syria. Al-Baghdadi detonated a suicide vest that killed him and 3 of his children, Trump said. He died like a dog, Trump said. He died like a coward. The world is now a much safer place. He was a sick and depraved man, and now he's gone. Al-Baghdadi is the highest ranking terrorist to be killed or captured since the death of Osama bin Laden in 2011. U.S. commandos launched the raid late Saturday. Trump said the news reports and the raid's target was al-Baghdadi, who was located with the assistance of the CIA. No U.S. personnel were killed. Trump said the U.S. forces accomplished their mission in grand style in a dangerous, daring nighttime raid. 8 helicopters, the president said, came in. The president also said he told Russia, "I'm coming in." Russia said, "Why are you coming in?" He said, "I'm not going to tell you, but I'm coming in, and I'm coming right over top of your military there in northern Syria. Don't shoot at us, but we're coming in." So the Russians stood down. The Americans flew right over top of Russia's head, landed, and the commandos went in. They were members of the Green Beret. They were members of Delta Force. Trump said they were the top special ops of all military branches. They went in and began to secure the location, taking out any adult or anyone that threatened them, but sparing the lives safely of 11 children and bringing the 11 children out of there while killing their captives. Then they went on to search for Baghdadi, who had fled with his 2 wives and 3 children into a tunnel that was a dead-end tunnel. When they got there, the United States said Baghdadi had a death. Now, what's amazing about this story, and I'm trying to get it straight, is I'm reading right from the USA Today. It says that Baghdadi detonated his own vest, killing his 2 wives and 3 kids. We have conflicting reports on that because the president himself said, "We detonated his vest, for we didn't want to get any of our soldiers killed." So, I'm not sure which one's which on that. Trump could be misunderstanding, or do they have a new technology now that they can use to detonate a suicide vest inside a tunnel? Does the United States have this do they have a new technology that can do that? Was Trump supposed to say that or not? Was he mistaking when he said it? I don't know. I heard what he said. I was listening to him say it. And then I read what USA Today says. Well, it doesn't matter at this point. The president led a successful raid to take out al-Baghdadi and to put it into this nonsense of ISIS, cutting off the head of the snake this weekend. And so these brave young men and women who were a part of this raid need to be commended, folks. They need to be thanked. They need to be they should be awarded the highest honor. But of course, they're special forces, and we'll never even get to know what their names are because we have to protect their identities so that their families can be protected. 11 children were removed from the house, according to the president, but it was unclear to whom they belonged to. He said some fighters at the scene were taken and imprisoned, so they killed a bunch, but they took a bunch with them. They asked how many was killed. He said, I don't know the exact numbers, but more are dead than alive. Al-Baghdadi spent his last moments in utter fear, in total panic and dread, terrified of the American forces bearing down on him. Trump said his Vice President Mike Pence watched much of the mission from the White House Situation Room, that al-Baghdadi spent his final moments whimpering and crying and screaming all the way. Trump did not confirm how many people were killed in the mission, but that the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights had reported at least 8. 2 women, whom Trump described as the wives of al-Baghdadi, were killed, found wearing suicide vests that had not detonated. Both women were killed in the operation. The announcement came 3 weeks after Trump announced the withdrawal of the U.S. troops from northern Syria and allowed Turkish forces to sweep into the area and attack the Kurds. But then a decision came. Trump brought a peace deal that sent the Turks back home, the Russians to back off, and the Kurds allowed to stay. And Trump also has secured the oil fields, which will be run by American oil companies, of which the royalties or the money from the oil will be distributed between the United States, the Kurds, Turkey, and Russia. And he brought peace and then killed al-Baghdadi in the same area. This is an incredible orchestration, and he didn't even call Nancy Pelosi to get her feedback. And Adam Schiff is also very mad that he didn't get called. But the president said no. When asked, did you call Nancy Pelosi? He said, no, I had to keep this a secret. I didn't want to lose any of our military lives. This had to be kept a secret. Talk about Israel for just a minute. The reaction to the death of al-Baghdadi by the world is quite significant. I'd like to share that with you folks. Listen to what different leaders said about the death of ISIS leader Abu al-Baghdadi. Al-Baghdadi died after running into a tunnel during a U.S. operation in northwest Syria. ISIS leader Abu al-Baghdadi killed in a U.S. military raid, according to President Trump, has confirmed it. His DNA was tested on the spot, and it is confirmed. During a press conference Sunday, Trump said al-Baghdadi had been under surveillance for a couple of weeks. That's why he was doing all of that. I'm pulling out of Syria and all of that. That was all part of Trump's way of securing the oil, protecting the Kurds, ending the violence, and killing Baghdadi and flushing them out. Okay, according to the U.S. president, ISIS chief died after running into a tunnel in the village of Barashah, Syria, where he detonated an explosive vest, killing himself and his 3 children. In the announcement, Trump thanked Turkey, Syria, Iraq, Russia, and Syrian Kurds for their cooperation. But in his press conference today, he said it was all done by the United States, that none of these nations knew what was going on. The only one that participated, he said, was the Kurds, who gave the location of Baghdadi to the CIA, who then gave it to the president. The world reaction to the news has been divided. Some leaders hailing it as a turning point in the fight against terrorism, while other governments played it down as not that big a deal. I mean, after how many people did they beheaded? After all the women they raped and murdered and destruction across Syria and Iraq, how can this not be significant? I mean, it shows you the stupidity of some of the world leaders or the evil. It's either they're stupid, they absolutely have no competency at all, or they're full of the devil themselves and can't celebrate. Anybody who's mad about, I mean, if Adam Schiff is mad that he didn't get asked, who cares, Adam Schiff? Who cares if you got told about it? We don't care. Matter of fact, I thank God you didn't get told. Yeah, I don't know. You know, Trump was trying to keep this tight-lipped as possible. Dear Lord. Anyway, don't lose your. Nobody get upset here. Turkey, President Erdogan said Baghdadi's killing marked a turning point in the joint fight against terrorism. So Turkey said it's a turning point. Here's what Russia said. The Russian Defense Ministry reacted to the news with skepticism, saying it had no reliable information on the U.S. operation. How did they help us then, Heidi, if they didn't even know what was going on? So even the the Russians don't know whether to say thank you, we're so glad, because they really didn't know, neither did Turkey. The Russian Ministry of Defense does not have any reliable information on the U.S. servicemen conducting the Turkish-controlled part of the de-escalation zone there in northern Syria near Idlib, and an operation, yet another elimination of a former ISIS Abu al-Baghdadi. Major General Igor Konstantinovich was quoted by local news saying, I don't know if it really happened. What? Then in Israel, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu labeled the event as an impressive achievement. He said, this reflects our shared determination of the United States of America and of all free countries to fight terror organizations and terrorist states. A statement from his office reads, this achievement is an important milestone, but the campaign is still ahead of us. It's not over. He's right. Then there's Iran. What do you think Iran said about this? Iran's information minister, Mohammed Javad al-Zahra Jaharumai, said in a tweet that the killing of al-Baghdadi was not a big deal. You just killed your creature. The minister did not elaborate, but Iran has often said that the United States created ISIS and this was our own creature. I think Iran might be right. I think it was the CIA when Obama left everything there. We've said it ourselves. A lot of people have said that. It was Obama that left Iraq, left all the equipment, and all of a sudden ISIS was formed. Maybe Iran's telling the truth. Okay, and then there's Bahrain. Bahrain Foreign Minister Khalid bin Ahmad al-Kafara praised the move and said it was a fatal blow to ISIS. Then there's France. Yes, French Defense Minister Florence Parly congratulated the United States, but cautioned that the fight against ISIL will continue. And he's right. And then there's a translation from the French said, Baghdadi early retirement for a terrorist, but not for his organization. We will continue to fight against Daesh or ISIL without rest, with our partners adapting ourselves to new regional circumstances. I congratulate our American allies for this operation. My thoughts today are for all victims of the madness of Baghdadi and the criminals who have followed him. And then here's what the United Kingdom said. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, Bojo, said this was an important moment, but also warned the battle against ISIS is not yet over. And then there's the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces. The Kurds commander of the Kurdish-led Syrian forces said this achievement was a result of a joint intelligence cooperation. And that's the truth. It was the Kurds who told the CIA where Baghdadi was hiding. Interesting for sure.